Okay, thank you all for joining me today. I do apologize for the brief delay. I was having a couple technical issues. But first, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Dominique D. Wilson, and I'm the founder of EverythingSheTouches.com. And I help women to discover their purpose, own their story, and use it as inspiration to express their unique gifts into the world. So today, I created this live stream because I want to talk to you about the power of blogging. Specifically 5 ways that you can empower yourself through blogging. So I have some notes here. Just want to make sure that I stay on track. So I started blogging, it's been probably about 10 years now, and I've blogged on various platforms. Starting off, I used Blogger, and I had a blog called Rain Fairy's Journey, and there I used to just talk about my day-to-day life and lessons that I learned. And over time, I realized that there was a bit of a pattern to my blogging. Everything that I wrote about was usually something dealing with personal development and inspiration. And even though I've been blogging for about 10 years, like I said, it took me a while to figure out what is my thing, right? And so I now know that blogging is a very, very powerful way of discovering what your purpose is. And so I knew that I wanted to start a business. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't really know what exactly did I want to do. There are all these ideas floating around and all these things that I was good at, all these things I was passionate about. But going back to the writing is what really helped me to see this pattern over time, that my purpose is to teach, to inspire, and to empower women to own their story and to use that to express their gifts into the world. That is my purpose. And so I had kind of been just doing that for so long, but overlooking it and not realizing that that's what I'm most passionate about and that's what I like to do. So that's why I put this series together, so that if you are a creative, if you're someone with multiple passions, and maybe you want to start a business but you haven't quite settled on an idea yet, and maybe you're wondering, what should I do to get started? I want to say that blogging is a very safe way to get started. Even if you don't exactly know where you're going to take it, it kind of has a way of triggering a creative process that will help you to figure it out. And sometimes the next steps don't reveal themselves until you get started. So the 5 reasons to start blogging, I've broken down into 5 M's. Your message, your mindset, your mastery, your mission, and magnetism. So I'll start with message. By message, I mean empowering yourself by telling your story. Now, your story holds the biggest key to your purpose. And by not telling your story, it leaves a lot of questions open. So you can spend years maybe in a career or a relationship or in a lifestyle and be completely out of alignment with who you are, by not really going back and looking at your story to see what's there and learning how to tell that from an empowered place. And if you are, let's say you're a small business owner, when people come to your website, your story is what really draws them in. And so being able to look at your life and see what is that major turning point that shifted the way that you see the world? Or maybe there's someone who had a great impact on you growing up, or maybe there's an event that you had, that a major life transition. Maybe you went through a divorce, or you lost a loved one, or went through a job loss, or moved to a completely new area. It could be anything. Everyone's story is different. It doesn't have to be a sad story. It's just your story is your story. And so whatever has happened in your life that has kind of shaped the way that you see the world, it's very important to kind of develop that story, learn how to tell it powerfully, see what are the values in that, and share that with people, because that's what people want to know about you. They want to make a genuine connection. And so blogging can really help you to empower your message by learning to tell your story and kind of adding that throughout your different blog posts. You don't have to make every blog post about your story, but you'll find a way of kind of weaving it in there. So another thing I want to say about telling your story is there are a lot of gems there, right? So You can get clear on what your values are by digging into your story. You'll get clearer on what your principles are. These are the things that drive all of the decisions that you make. And they can kind of help to steer you in future decisions so that you know if something is in alignment with your values, then you'll go in that direction. But if it's not, you won't go in that direction. So getting into your story can really help you to discover what your values are. And the more you blog about your story, your values will reveal themselves to you. It can also help you on a personal level of development. So you can storytelling. Telling your story is a creative process, right? Anytime you are speaking or writing, dancing, whatever it is that you do, it's a creative process. And so you're not just recalling something that you remember, you're actually creating new insights and things like that. So every time you go back and look at your story and you tell that from an empowered place, you're learning new things and you're becoming more integrated and showing up more in the world as who you are authentically. So that's the first M, empowering your message. So now let's move on to the next M, which is empowering your mindset. Blogging can help you to empower your mindset by shattering limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs don't always make themselves known. They usually show up through behaviors such as procrastination, putting things off, perfectionism. I know I was big on that. I've spent a lot of time trying to perfect things and not really getting started because I wanted it to be just right. So going back to this idea of starting a business or starting a cause or whatever it is that you want to create in the world, blogging is a great way to get over that mindset of having to wait till everything's perfect, because everything's never going to be perfect. So again, it's a very safe way to get started and to start putting your gifts out there into the world and see what happens. Another limiting behavior is confusion. And confusion it's very subtle because you'll have an idea about something you want to do. It's very clear, and right before you're about to do it, everything is a blur and you don't really know exactly what direction you were headed with it. And that can also be one of those things that kind of hold you back. So by just creating your blogs and putting them out there little by little, you'll stop doing that. You'll learn to just let it flow. And if there's a typo or a grammatical error, it's not as big a deal. It's more important to get started. And as you get into a flow, you can tweak and you can go back and edit things later. But the important thing is to get it out there. Another one is not following through on things that you start. So with all this said, blogging is a very empowering thing to do, but you need to be consistent. So maybe saying I'm going to post one blog a week, or if you can do one every 2 weeks just starting out, as long as you stick to it. A lot of times, I've done this before too. We'll start a blog and everything's great, and then it's like, oh, I don't know what to write about, and then it just starts to taper off after a while. So in that situation, what you want to do is always go back to what inspires you. Whatever you're most fired up about, write about that, but keep with it, stay consistent, and don't allow those limiting behaviors to hold you back, because what's sitting behind those things, the perfectionism, the procrastination, the confusion, what's sitting behind that is a limiting belief. And so it's important to keep that in mind. So that's the second M, empowering your mindset. So we've talked about empowering your message, empowering your mindset. Now let's talk about mastery. Right? Blogging is a very effective way to establish yourself as an authority in your niche, whatever that is. So when it comes to being a business owner or starting a business, when you write about what inspires you and the more value that you bring to people, the more you begin to position yourself as an expert in what you're talking about. This can also help you if you have a job, because once you become known for something, you can leverage that to negotiate, a better position or better pay at your job. So it can help you all around to position you as an authority. And what this means is basically when people go to Google and type in their problems, you become the go-to person. And your friends and family who you share your blogs out to when they run into a problem dealing with that, they'll think of you because they're always seeing you talk about the same thing over and over again, and they can see that, you know, you have a lot of experience in this area. So this can also help you, it'll help you all around, personally and professionally. So that's all I want to say about mastery. The next M would be mission. So empowering your mission is about growing your business, your movement, or your cause, whatever it is that you've either started or are trying to start. Blogging can be a very powerful tool to grow that for a few reasons. The more that you blog consistently, you'll increase your search engine optimization, which means when people go to a search engine and type in a question or concern or a problem related to your niche, your blog is going to come up a lot faster if you're using, you know, targeted keywords and things like that. But you also have to make sure that you're blogging consistently. So as I said, if you're going to post once a week, make sure it's every week on the same day or every 2 weeks on the same day, but keep a constant schedule. And so that's going to help to grow your business. It's also going to increase your brand awareness. And what that is pretty much if it's just you, let's say you're a solopreneur and you have maybe a jewelry making business, or you're a realtor, you make handmade products, you sew. We live in a first world country here in the States. Let's face it. No one needs any of these things, but we buy things because we want them. And there's a lot of people that sell the same thing as someone else. But what sets you apart, what gives you an unfair advantage, right? An unfair competitive advantage is you, your story, your personality. And so when people come to your website, they see something they like, you want to keep them coming back to your website. So having a blog will make them more aware of who you are behind your brand. They build a relationship. They get to know you. Again, people buy things, whether that be buying products, services, or ideas from people they know, like, and trust. So having a blog is a great way to build that trust so that you can grow awareness of who you are, what your brand is about, what your mission, your message is about. And so the very last thing I want to touch on, we've talked about empowering your message, we talked about empowering your mindset, we talked about mastery, we talked about empowering your mission, and now I want to talk about empowering your magnetism. So this is very similar to the last one. Creating a blog that resonates with people increases your magnetism. You start to attract different opportunities to you and people that you can work together with and partner to build a more strategic approach to growing your business or your mission, your movement, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So having a blog, you can have people coming as guest bloggers and blog on your blog. You can send blogs over to them and guest blog, on their blog or website. It just creates more opportunities for you to connect with people. And also, because your story is infused in there and your values are coming through, the people who you attract, the opportunities you attract, will be more in alignment with who you are and what it is that you're trying to do. There's a really awesome quote by Paulo Coelho. He wrote The Alchemist, and he says, when you want something, all of the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And I really like this quote because it embodies all of the 5 M's. Basically, when you take action, inspired action based on what you value and what inspires you and what's most important, things just start to come in line. So, all in all, I just want to say that blogging is a very great way to have clarity, to clarify what your mission is, discover what your purpose is, to empower your mindset, to break through any limiting beliefs that hold you back, to grow your business, to grow awareness around your cause or your mission, and also to attract people and opportunities and circumstances to you that are going to help to take you from where you are to the next level. So just to recap, we talked about empowering your message, which is all about telling your story powerfully. We talked about empowering your mindset, which is about shattering limiting beliefs that hold you back. We talked about empowering your mastery, which is establishing yourself as an authority in your niche. We talked about empowering your mission, which is growing your business your cause, or your organization. And we also talked about empowering your magnetism, which brings people and opportunities to you that are going to help you grow and move you to the next level. So I hope that you have found this helpful. If so, please definitely leave me a comment down below. And if you are in a situation right now where you have some ideas, you kind of want to start a business, or maybe you just got certified in something and you want to put together a website or blog, but you're not really sure where to start, I would love to help you. So feel free to send me a PM here through Facebook, and we can talk about different ways to get you established and set up your business or blog. I would love to walk you through that process and help you to start telling your story powerfully so that you can establish a very strong platform to build your business and achieve your big goals. Thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. Tune in again on October 15th. I will have another, I'm going to have a masterclass on blogging. It'll be a lot more in-depth than this today. This was really more just kind of an introduction to the topic. So stay tuned to my Facebook page here for details on that, and I will see you on the other side. Bye.